Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the one and only Kaspa coin. You know that I have this coin. You know that I'm super high on this token. If you guys don't know, recently this coin went from 1 BPS, which is one blocked per second, to 10 on May 5th. So practically it pack-a-punched and became 10 times the coin it is currently, or it was before. And the crazy thing is, ladies and gentlemen, it wants to go to 100 BPS. It eventually wants to go to 250 BPS. So this is a coin that is going to be scaling, okay? We know this is a coin that is going to be scaling. So, me putting my money in, I sleep super well, holding Kaspa, especially that I bought at lower levels, which we'll discuss and, look at the chart in just a second. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super hyped for this coin. We had very big and good news that happened regarding this token. You can see that we had the most recent weekly candle close happen at 11.5 cents, right? A little bit higher than 11.5 cents, 11.7 cents. And the reason why this was super huge is because, ladies and gentlemen, we actually came back above a very big support and resistance that it's a huge key level. Is arguably our biggest key level, right? In my opinion, this is the biggest key level because this is something where we have been ranging from practically, you can argue, let's just say even from the bottom of here, from December of 2023 all the way until beginning of February. We were ranging between 10 to 11 cents and upwards of, let's just say, 18, 19, and even 20 cents. Okay. And finally, after a couple of weeks being down here, we reclaimed this area. And the reason why this weekly candle, this new one, is going to be super important is because, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a retest of the big support and resistance. Okay. When we are above it, it is a support. When we are below it and we have candle closes below it, it means it is a resistance, okay? Which means goodbye. Goodbye, we are in hell, okay? So it is very important because last time we broke below it, right? We can see we closed at 8.5 cents. The next week we tried to push. We never went above this green zone. It was looking, like it was solid in the moment, but then after we saw the close wasn't that good, and then we just kept getting more and more sells. And yeah, we just fell below the big support, turning it into resistance, which was scary for at one point, right? Then we can see that we went all the way down to 5 cents, a little bit higher than 5 cents to get the perfect support and resistance retest, right? Because this is the top, right? This was the last relevant top before we burst it out. And then we got a nice retest off of the last high, having a very nice fundamental pullback. And we can see Kaspa just moves very nicely and fundamentally, right? We can see that when Kaspa did have some momentum and it tapped into this big zone first, right? Tapping into our big resistance zone first, we pulled back all the way to a very nice relevant support resistance, which was between, right? We saw it was between 8 cents and 8.7 cents, right? And we can see we tapped perfectly into it and we just continued with the momentum. Okay, so Kaspa is a very nice fundamental coin, which is why I also really like it. The way the chart moves, the actual project itself, the way it can scale up is just really good and really solid. I really do enjoy holding this project. I genuinely do sleep well at night knowing that I have bought in general somewhere over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, right? In these nice zones. I bought in those areas. So I feel really good. I feel comfortable holding this coin. I know this coin is going to do well. We obviously will discuss the price prediction and stuff at the very end, but we are going to talk about why I made this video in the first place. Guys, look, right? Once we break past a zone, what usually happens next is to retest to see if we want to hold and flip it. Okay, so Kaspa's gonna have to do something very hard, but very possible, which is, right, we went past a big zone. And what we're looking for from Kaspa is to practically hold the 10 to 11 cent area, because once we do hold it, and especially if we get a good weekly candle or a nice, 1 or 2 weekly candles, then we will most likely be looking to be pushing to the next level, which for me is all the way up here of 15.6 cents. Okay, that is the next relevant zone. So right now we saw this weekly candle over here, it tapped into it, right? Not enough buying pressure, went back for a fundamental retest to then continue past it, right? We bursted, and now this candle is to retest off this zone to then continue pushing up higher. Now, how far back can Kaspa technically go? Well, Kaspa could retrace all the way back into this weekly order block, right? Anywhere from practically just a little bit above 10 cents to 9.5 cents. Okay, so if we remove these zones over here to make it more simple for you guys, right, this would be my buying zone. If I do not have Kaspa, and if I was looking for a discount as well, I would be looking for this zone of 9.5 to, let's just say, a little bit above 10 cents as practically my final buying zone. Okay, it really, really is going to be your final buying zone, because we do have this weekly order block candle. The whole markets are overall very, very bullish. And of course, if we even go and pull this box out further, you are also dealing with some type of support and resistance that is a little bit lower than the big support and resistance that we're just talking about at 11 cents. Okay, so multiple reasons of why the price should not be going lower than that. And of course, we discussed this candle's purpose. So it could pull back a little bit to then next week shoot up higher, or we may chill here for 1 to 3 weeks maximum, I would say. Overall, we are in recovery mode, right? We talked about it on this channel that, I expected April, May, and June to be the recovery month candles, and we can see we are doing a fantastic job. It would not surprise me if sometime, by the end of June, let's say, we have made our way back to 16 cents more or less, or even upwards of the all-time highs sitting around 19 cents. That is what I would expect from this 3-month candle, because I do expect after this for 3 to 6 months of, some type of big, nice movement. Okay, I really, really do, right? Especially that if we go to something like Bitcoin, I expect the same thing for Bitcoin. Okay, I expect more or less, April, May, and June to be the recovery candles. And then we should start breaking out, in the summer, to early fall. That is kind of when I also expect altcoin season to be happening. Okay. That is my key area, right? I've been calling that for months now, that I think, that zone is going to be the primary zone, which obviously means that Kaspa is going to flourish sometime, like July, August, September, October, right? Rough months. I know it's a little bit of a wide range, but we will cut down on when altcoin season is officially happening when, the time is right. In terms of altcoin season, ladies and gentlemen, right? In my opinion, there's no real sign of altcoin season. For me, we still have to continue to push higher and higher for the dominance, right? Which could take at least a few short months or a couple of weeks, right? I would expect it to go to 69 to 71%. There's a decent chance it could also go to 74% before it crashes and before we get something very, very similar to this. And of course, if we do crash heavy like that, then Kaspa is going to absolutely flourish. Okay, they changed it. Okay, this is a little annoying, but I guess. So the market cap, ladies and gentlemen, is 3 billion. We can see insane, nice volume, 300 million in volume. That is what we like to see. Very, very good volume. And things, we're not listed on Binance or Coinbase or some other exchanges, and we're still getting this nice organic volume, which is what we love to see. Ladies and gentlemen, I do think this coin at the minimum should be hitting roughly $1.75 this cycle. If we do get a double pump, this coin can definitely even go upwards of something like 350. Okay, so that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.